There is outrage in the parliament over the deadly attack on a passenger train. Service chiefs failed to honor an invitation to meet face-to-face with the House of Reps over rising insecurity. And later in the program,
the security agencies in this country, both the police, the Air Force, and the Army, must sit down together.
Senator Uba Sani, representing Kaduna Central, will help us feel the pulse of the people and provide a perspective into government's efforts to curb this frightening trend. You're watching the Hallowed Chambers on TVC News. I am Jesu Aduru. There's anger over the loss of lives caused by the brazen attacks on an Abuja-bound train. Lawmakers are furious and unable to hide their feelings as the news of this tragedy is brought to the floor of the parliament. In the Senate and in the House of Reps, their condemnation of the attack and destruction of critical transport infrastructure was strong. Senators want the military to unleash an offensive against these criminals, while the House of Reps urged security agencies to set up a special task force that will ensure safety at airports and the rail lines across the country.
Terrorists have in recent times stepped up attacks on communities and public facilities in Kaduna State. The latest attacks by these murderous elements took place in some communities in your local government. They killed 50 persons and kidnapped over 100 people.
Terrorists have declared war against Nigeria, and I think it is time for Nigeria to declare war against these terrorists.
And for over 2 years, this has been happening. So there's no way that you can tell any person that the security would not or have not been able to locate or strategize in order to address the security in Kaduna.
I say all of us seated here, one day, they will finish us because they will start looking after us, running after us, and nowhere to run to. Even if we run to anybody to help us, they will say we are the cause of all this. There must be an urgent action should be taken immediately to solve all this problem.
They have closed the airspace of Kaduna Airport now, and I just heard that they've also closed. They've also suspended the rail transport to Kaduna. What it means that the only means of transportation now to Kaduna is by road.
What has been happening across the country is really disheartening. It's really unfortunate for a well-established nation. Citizens are being held to ransom by bandits.
This is an existential threat for all Nigerians. It means Nigerians are on the run. It used to be cars that were attacked and kidnapped. Vehicles are burnt by bandits.
Leader of the House of Representatives, Ado Dogwa, wants citizens to be allowed to carry arms and defend themselves. The lawmaker is worried over the brutal violence and killings that is gradually becoming widespread across the country.
I think Nigerians at this moment should be allowed to also take arms. Nigerians must be allowed to take arms in defense of their innocent souls, defend their hard-earned resources and property. Because it's like a monumental failure. If the agencies of security have failed, Nigerians should not be seen as a failure. Let Nigerians organize themselves in the name of civil defense. Civil defense. Let them organize and raise defense for their own souls, innocent souls. Because if the responsibility of the government and the security agencies cannot be carried out democratically, then let's go to jungle. Everyone has cause to defend himself. Nigerians should no longer be running away from attacks. Nigerians should no longer be running away from unnecessary banditry in the face of helpless and baseless situation when government and security agencies is like they're failing in their basic responsibility.
But in a swift reaction, the spokesman of the House of Reps says the views expressed by Honorable Ado Dogwa are his personal opinion and not a reflection of the Parliament's position.
The leader has every right as a member of Parliament to air his view. I think he's trying to mention the need for people to have access to arms to protect themselves, which is also seen in other climes around the world. But until the Parliament passes that, we cannot take that as the position of the Parliament. So for now, it is the position of Honorable Dogwa. It's not the position of the leader. He was not speaking as the leader of the House. It is not the position of the Parliament that every person in Nigeria should bear arms until it goes through legislative processes and assented to by Mr. President. The Parliament is not calling every person in Nigeria to bear arms. We are charged with the responsibility of making laws, and pronouncement from members of the Parliament does not become laws. What makes it law is that we will follow the whole 9 yards of lawmaking in both chambers, and it gets to Mr. President, and he sends it back to us with his assent. Until then, nobody should bear arms. It is not the position of the Parliament until it becomes law that it is allowed.
The Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives is unhappy over the refusal of service chiefs in the country to honor the invitation from the lower house over the security situation in the country. But he agreed to reschedule the meeting and hopes this time the service chiefs will show up and give an account of their efforts in ending this cycle of violence.
No doubt, we do not have any doubt regarding your capacity, your role. As operational officers, you have all the interest in terms of what should be done. But as a house, I'm constrained as a deputy speaker to continue the meeting because the accounting officers are the ones that are supposed to be here while you give them the necessary support. So we cannot proceed. And I'm saying with heavy heart, no matter the assignment our generals are handling, I believe the Parliament requires a listening ear. This is the House of the people. I'm saddened, I'm not happy, I'm expressing my disappointment. I do not know whether you have any tangible excuse, because in all the agencies, none have the respect to have one chief executive. All the agencies that have been invited, none. It means then we are maybe considered to be jokers, but we are not jokers.
Joining me now is Senator Uba Sani, representing Kaduna Central Senatorial District in the National Assembly. It's good to have you on the program.
Thank you.
Let's start with the unfortunate attack on the Kaduna-Abuja train. How are you dealing with this difficult situation?
Of course, it's really a very unfortunate situation. That was the reason why I raised a motion yesterday coming under 41 and 51 on the floor of the Senate. And of course, as you are aware, virtually, let me say, all the senators unanimously supported my motion because everybody is very, very concerned about what really happened. The issue of insecurity in this country, like this, is a subject matter that we discuss more than any other thing on the floor of the Senate. I have moved several motions in the past, and my colleagues have done the same. And of course, we kept insisting that the security agencies in this country must step up. Of course, when we called them last year, when the situation was very serious in some states like Zamfara, Sokoto, Katsina, they told us that the problem was the issue of funding, and they also requested that we should support budgetary demands so that they can buy equipments that can assist them in fighting these terrorists. And of course, we did that knowing fully that not long ago, a competent court of law in this country came with a position and declared these bandits as terrorists. And because of that, we sat with them again and made it clear to them that they need to have a coordinated aerial bombardment against these terrorists. But unfortunately, until this moment, I don't think they've done anything much. In some areas, they have started the operation, but the problem is that you cannot succeed in fighting these terrorists if the aerial bombardment is not well coordinated, because some of them, if you attack them in a state like Zamfara, they will run away to Kaduna. If you attack them in Niger state, they will find their way to go to the neighboring states. So they are moving around states within the northwest and north central. So that is a problem. So to be able to achieve this fight against these terrorists, the security agencies in this country, both the police, the Air Force, and the Army, must sit down together, improve the level of intelligence gathering. That is one. Two, try to work closely with the communities around those areas. Because if you look at these attacks, you will agree with me that these bandits are living few kilometers away from the areas they attack their targets. So I can understand why in this country we don't have equipments that can be able to monitor these terrorists and attack them. So that is another problem. That is a major problem. But of course, we at the level of National Assembly, we have limitation. All we can do is to support their budgetary allocation, to also pass a resolution like the one I did yesterday, calling on them to really step up, because you know the constitution of this country have made it clear that every arm of the government have their own specific responsibility by the constitution. So we are doing what we need to do, and we have done it extremely well.
The security situation in Kaduna has also been a great concern to many. Is it that security agencies are overwhelmed?
Yeah, you know, I think I agree with you to some extent, but I'm also surprised that when at the beginning of the review of the 1999 Constitution, I happens to be a member of the committee representing the Senate. And of course, even before the committee, some of us have moved motions on the floor of the Senate calling for the creation of state police. I'm one of the people, one of the senators that have a bill calling for the amendment of the federal police and the creation of the state police force. But unfortunately, a lot of people raise a lot of apprehension, and they refuse to support it. I'm not talking about even my colleagues in the Senate. Even when we were around for consultation, we went to all the zones of this country. I was among the senators that went to Northwest. And I can tell you here, without any fear of contradiction, I remember vividly only Kaduna State government came with a position supporting the creation of state police. Virtually all other states were not really clear, and they were not really, they didn't come with any position that was clear about the creation of state police. They didn't support it. And of course, I was wondering, how will we fight these bandits and these terrorists? Because when we call the security agencies, beyond the issue of funding, they need more boots on ground to be able to fight these bandits. If you look at the population of the country, we're talking about a country that has a population of over 200 million. Look at the ratio of the citizens of this country to the ratio of the number of police and the entire security personnel in this country, and compare it to other countries, not even some developed countries, even countries within Africa. I can say Nigeria is the worst. So yes, I sympathize with the security agencies in this country because they are lacking the boots. They don't have the number to be able to confront or to protect the over 200 million Nigerians. So this is the area where I think we need to look into also. critically, because the issue of state police, I still insist, is the solution. But until we happen to come together and agree again that we must create state police, we have to start looking at the immediate solution. And the solution is, first and foremost, the security themselves must step up. Secondly, we must increase the level of personnel, because the level we are going right now, if we continue at this level, I don't think we are safe in this country. And we all know, all of us elected, that the primary responsibility of any government is the protection of lives and property of the citizens that elected us.
These bandits terrorizing parts of Kaduna State and the Northwest have been declared terrorists. But it seems nothing has changed in the military engagement with this deadly group.
No, I think me at the level of member of the National Assembly who is elected, I would like to call on the President and the Commander-in-Chief to really sit down with the service chiefs and listen to them. If there's any support they need, let's do it. If there's any intervention they want, let's give it to them. I think a lot of people have called for at least overhaul of the entire security approaches, but I believe that can only happen if we continue to support those institutions, because maybe there's something they really want. We need to talk to them. Some things might not be said in the camera, but I think a time has reached where we need to say that, because these terrorists are coming to towns now. All these areas they are attacking, they are not far away. For instance, you cannot imagine the level of hardship now a lot of people will face. If you look at the road between Abuja to Kaduna, people are talking about Kaduna alone, but these roads, to go to about 6 to 7 states, you must pass through this very road. It's very important road. And today, as we're talking, I don't think people are safe to pass that road. Initially, because of the fact that nobody can go through the road, because you can move from Abuja to Kaduna, which is only 160 kilometers, but you can move the whole 160 kilometers without seeing any security personnel, whether army or police, protecting the roads, knowing fully that these roads are not safe. For me, it's unfortunate. Again, once some people have not decided to be following the trends, on a daily basis, we have at least 8,000 people passing that road, because we have like almost 1,000 when a single trip from Abuja to Kaduna. And in a day, you have about 8. So when you look at the average, it's between 7,000 and 7,000 plus. So how do people survive? It has really affected the economies of our people, our communities. Now, with the level of poverty, now the insecurity has really completely now escalated the problem, because our people are farmers, they can't go to farm any longer. The petty traders, they cannot travel any longer. They can't do their own businesses because they need to travel, most of them. And now they can't even travel again. And I can tell you that road connects 7 other states apart from Kaduna. The entire northwestern states, you must pass through them to go to any 7 northwest. So that is the problem.
You recently declared your interest to contest as governor of Kaduna State. How would you tackle these security challenges in the state?
Yeah, you see, the unfortunate situation, like I said, is that even state governors have little or no powers over the security approaches. All I can say in essence is we will continue to agitate. My governor, Governor El-Rufai, worked closely with me, even in Kaduna, and I can tell you he's having sleepless night every day. In the last 2 years, I don't think there's any single area that the governor really worked more than the issue of trying to solve the problem of insecurity in Kaduna State. He has done extremely well, and I think I will build on the effort he has been making right now, because he is doing very well. But the problem is beyond him himself. But I'm going to look at what he has been doing, because we're doing everything together to be able to build on that. I have no doubt in my mind, if most of these points I've mentioned right now are achieved, we'll be able to solve the problem of security, not only in Kaduna State, everywhere in Nigeria.
States are complaining about dwindling resources caused by deductions from FAC account and poor remittance by NMPC. How would you approach issues of growing RGR and improving the local economy?
It's a major crisis that everybody is aware about. And this issue, I think there are many factors that are responsible for that, like I said. As a country, I cannot say we've done well in terms of managing our economy because, as you are aware, I'm the chairman of the Committee on Banking, Insurance and Financial Institutions, so I'm really familiar with the problem. And the problem is the fact that maybe successive governments haven't done well. We haven't really planned for the rainy day because if you look at most of the problem we're facing, the problems that happen because we do not plan in the past. And of course, in the last 5 years or thereabouts, we faced about 3 crises of economic recession in this country. And I think I can say that is why we're facing this crisis. Recently, the problem of that just happened between Russia and Ukraine has also affected our economy, just like in other countries. Also, don't forget the problem of the COVID-19 pandemic that ravaged every economy around the world, not only Nigeria. So it's a global crisis, and I have no doubt in my mind we will work toward that. The only thing for us to do is to improve the level of productivity in this country, create jobs, support manufacturing, support agriculture. But unfortunately, like I said earlier, even if we have the plan of supporting the agriculture, how can the farmers farm right now? So the issue of insecurity is the key to everything for me, because even if you want to improve the level of productivity and create jobs, without insecurity, you cannot achieve much. That is a problem.
Don't you think your party, the APC, will face a tough task at the polls in 2023 general elections, as many Nigerians blame it for poor handling of the country's affairs?
I don't believe, like a lot of people are agitating, that will really affect our chances in the next election. Because I think what is key is about getting the right individual for any position. Because for me, I think Nigerians are more concerned about the kind of people that will lead them. If any party happens to come with the candidates that are really good, people that have track records, because what Nigerians want is to look at your scorecard. What have you done in the past? How committed are you to the people now? What have you done in the past? What are these are the issues. It will be politics of issues. People keep talking about propaganda. Nobody cares about propaganda. It's about individuals. It's about what they've achieved. Party will play a role, but any party that decides to put a candidate that cannot win election, no matter how good the party is, I can tell you here, without any fear of contradiction, the person cannot win election. Nigerians are very clever. They're extremely now following the situations in the country. They know the people that can really support them. If you come from nowhere, you have no track record, you have not done anything for the people, and you say, give me a chance. They will not give you a chance. You have to tell them what you've done to them. You have to really come up and show them practically what you've done to them. That is the reason why I believe 2023 is about issues, about the achievement of the individuals. No matter how good a party is, if they come with a bad candidate, it will be difficult for them to win the election.
That is all on our program this week. Do not forget that you can always see this episode again on TVC News YouTube channel. Also watch a repeat broadcast on Sunday, 7 a.m. Thank you for watching. See you next time.